We were talking about hiring a gunfighter.
Yeah, we don't know anything about that fella there. Now, who is he? Where's he coming from?
Go ahead. Make my day.
All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are...
Tonight I'd like to talk about acting locally. It's a great way to plant seeds in your neighbors' minds. I like to use Infowars.com to research and study the New World Order agenda. And I use this to apply it to local stories. I call into my local newspaper's call-in line every day. Usually I'll get at least one printed a week, but that still unlocks a lot of minds. Moving on, we'll also cover a local story tonight. I'll just put the pieces together for you and let you continue the research to see if this story really does go deeper.
Well, first of all, we get a call from somebody who says he needs help. He doesn't know how to get out of this sex ring, this traffic ring. He thinks he's going to be hurt.
Anyone who has been living in Colorado for a while knows the name Pat Sullivan as one of the most distinguished names in local law enforcement.
Sullivan was called a hero after rescuing a deputy during a standoff in Littleton. It was 1989. Sullivan and his deputies had surrounded a 20-year-old drug addict who had been on a metro area crime spree.
His service was even singled out by President Bill Clinton.
19 years as Arapahoe County Sheriff, named National Sheriff of the Year. He regularly testified before Congress. He won the Medal of Valor and was labeled a hero by one newspaper when he retired.
He took part in many national programs, some designed to prepare the country for a national disaster. He took a prominent role during the Columbine shootings in 1999, and after retiring as sheriff, led the security department at Cherry Creek Schools.
CBS 4's Tom Mustin live tonight at the Patrick J. Sullivan Detention Center in Arapahoe County.
Let's flash back through the past for a moment, starting with Boys Town, Nebraska. The Franklin cover-up. Larry King, a 300-pound pedophile who once sang the national anthem at a national Republican convention, was taking kids from the Boys Town orphanage and using them at torture, sex slave parties that catered to the rich and powerful that led right up to the White House.
Washington Times reported today that unidentified White House aides in the Carter, Reagan, and Bush administrations now are being investigated for using the services of a call boy ring. The paper reports that two of the male prostitutes were given a late-night tour of the White House last year.
Mr. Secretary, I watched President Bush deliver a moving speech at the United Nations in September 2003, in which he mentioned the crisis of the sex trade. The president called for the punishment of those involved in this horrible business. But at the very moment of that speech, DynCorp was exposed for having been involved in the buying and selling of young women and children. While all of this was going on, DynCorp kept the Pentagon contract to administer the smallpox and anthrax vaccines, and is now working on a plague vaccine through the Joint Vaccine Acquisition Program. Mr. Secretary, is it policy of the U.S. government to reward companies that traffic in women and little girls? That's my first question.
The Defense Department releasing brand new details into an investigation involving child pornography and dozens of its workers and contractors, some with top-level security clearance.
Keeping them honest tonight, potentially hundreds of military employees and contractors who may have bought child pornography online but haven't been prosecuted or even in some cases investigated. That's right, you heard me, child pornography. As many as 1,700 names, according to a U.S. Senator, on a list of 5,200 from an internet sting operation overlooked the first time around 4 years ago. Only now are they supposedly getting a second look, and only after pressure from investigative reporters.
The second mile, helping young people achieve their potential. Why, thank you, Jerry Sandusky. There's a whole lot more to be uncovered about this story.
The sheriff himself is housed here in a facility that bears his name.
These documents from the city of Centennial say that Sullivan did meet with the deputy the night of that 911 call and told the deputy that he was working for a drug task force trying to help recovering addicts stay clean.
He's actually someone who's harboring drug addicts and prostitutes.
Police also spent today going through evidence seized from a bathhouse with ties to Sullivan.
New shocking allegations surface against former Arapahoe County Sheriff Pat Sullivan, and they involve an underage victim. After serving as sheriff, Pat Sullivan went to work for the Cherry Creek School District.
In 2007, he provided a reference for a man named Sean Moss. Moss ultimately got a security guard job with the district at Overland High School.
We've learned Sullivan was one of the last people to see a young man alive before he was found drugged and dead along the South Platte in Denver.
In January, investigators believe the 27-year-old drowned in the Platte River where his body was found. Moss had meth and a date rape drug in his system.
We saw some disgusting video, and the kid looks 10 to 14 years old, blindfolded. He did not look like he was a willing participant.
Hang him. After about 8 months, the entire probe was halted. It left about 1,700 names totally unchecked. 1,700 alleged kiddie porn customers, an unknown number of whom may still work in some capacity for the Defense Department.
A task force was formed to investigate the former sheriff in connection with other possible criminal activities, but nothing warranted any further charges. Sullivan's original 30-day sentence was whittled down to 17 because of his good behavior. In Centennial, Hendrik Sabrandi, Fox 31 Denver.
Wow, what a beautiful day. That warm-up arrived just in time for the weekend.
And, you know, the meth for sex thing is bad, but it's not as bad as if this was wider spread involving more people. And our investigation showed it was wider spread involving more people, involving social clubs around Denver, involving hotels around Denver. We have a receipt here showing Sullivan's credit card and payment of rooms for kids. So we're continuing our investigation.